You know that moment when a conversation ends and something about it doesn't sit right, but you can't explain why. Nothing obvious was said, no argument, no tension, just a subtle shift, like something moved beneath the surface. And later, you replay it, not because you want to, but because your mind is trying to make sense of a feeling that never fully formed. Most people brush this off. They call it overthinking, being too sensitive, reading too much into things. But sometimes, it's not that simple. There are patterns in human behavior that operate quietly, not loud enough to notice immediately, but strong enough to change how you feel. These are the subtle mind games people use without even realizing it. Not always with bad intentions. Often, they come from habit, insecurity, or the need to feel in control. Like when someone gives you just enough attention to keep you engaged, but never enough to feel secure. Your brain starts chasing clarity, filling in gaps, looking for meaning that isn't clearly given. Or when a person denies something you clearly remember happening, not aggressively, just casually enough to make you question your own memory. Psychology calls this a distortion of perception, but in real life, it feels like doubt, like your certainty slowly slipping. Sometimes it shows up as guilt that isn't really yours. A conversation shifts and somehow you're the one apologizing, even when you didn't do anything wrong. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is wired to preserve connection. It would rather take on discomfort than risk disconnection. And many of these patterns don't start in adulthood. They begin earlier, in environments where attention was inconsistent or where emotional clarity wasn't always available. So the mind adapts. It learns to read between lines, to anticipate shifts, to stay alert to subtle changes in tone, energy, silence. What looks like overthinking is often just awareness trained by experience. And it's important to understand this isn't about blaming others. Everyone in some way uses these patterns, sometimes to protect themselves, sometimes without knowing. There's no clear line between right and wrong here, just different ways people try to feel safe, seen, or in control. But here's the part most people don't talk about. The more aware you become of these subtle dynamics, the harder it becomes to ignore them. You start noticing what others miss, feeling what others dismiss, and that can feel isolating.